That makes sense. I also would like to point out that I am certain that there is a word that generically means the shaman is here on important business and is going to walk around wherever the shaman wants while they figure out their spiritual problem. So I'm certain that there is a generic word that specifically says, none of your business, the shaman is busy. That's what I'm doing here. That's probably, I assume
Yes.
shamans are
Yes.
sometimes found wandering around on mountaintops. And someone says,
I'm
what are
here
you
on
doing?
my
And
own
they
business,
say,
and
the
I'm
shaman
not.
has spirit business. Don't bother me. Right. So I suspect that's probably a word that we all know.
That I
So-
probably can't translate to common, but
Right, exactly. So in that case, I suspect that the three of you are providing some information to each other. The next question is, are you going to? I don't know. I think there's some important dialogue or questions that you may have for one another, not in terms of information gathering, but just in terms of how you want to relate from this point forward.
I'm going to try and ask, I'm going to, my position here is that if they start communicating with each other, I'm going to try and step back and absorb as much as I can, because it's one of the reasons I want to find out what being dusters do when they are around other dusters. I've never seen this. Yeah.
Right.
But one thing, I have two curiosities for Itasha, and I'm going to ask her at some point, when it makes sense, if she belongs to a tribe and if the tribe lives here in the even deeper in the wilderness. I mean, if I want to try and understand if this is some next level of authentic duster life compared to the warrior tribe we trade with and that somehow we know of. She looks more exotic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is that I don't know which moment would be the smart one. I mean, I don't think there is a smart moment to ask this, but he's going to ask it. And at some point he's going to ask if he can draw on his book a tattoo. I want to ask if at some point I can copy the tattoo and draw it on the book.
And you can see on the pages of this book that he draws things. He's not bad at it. He's not bad at it at all. In fact, he's pretty good at it.
But this is my ritual tattoo. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it's not special in that way, so yes.
I mean, not now.
I may wonder what this book is and what its purpose is.
Mm-hmm. It's just trying to record things. And since I'm in a debt of gratitude to you, but also to my friend here, I'm going to turn around and see where the undeads are right now. They're still standing in the pools.
No, they fell over.
They fell over, yes. And the cloud has dissipated.
Correct.
Right? So I'm giving my sword to them and putting my bag down and say, okay, I'm going to make a run for your equipment and try to snatch it and bring it back. If you think it's because you left a lot of stuff there, you have armor and I mean it's impressive. So I think I would like to attempt this. I'm quite fast at running.
I have stuff. If you want to share.
Yeah, I think I would just be. I would say I would interrupt you and try to stop you from trying to get my stuff. I'm fine with that getting lost in. Yeah.
Well, okay, it's up to you, Farth. What do you want to do? They're both giving you like the look of you are out of your fucking mind. So
I think that's
certainly
got a
hand, I do because I don't know him.
Right.
I think even though Vefsel's shorter than you, she's probably got a hand like when people. Not on your shoulder, but on like the
upper arm,
right on the back of your neck.
Oh,
and is like just wait, like and is like don't. Mm-hmm. She does not want you to get hurt.
Give her the typical over enthusiastic, but I can do it. I think I can.
Okay. So go ahead. What do you do, Farth? Let me know.
Okay, so I'm thinking the cloud of gas
Just a moment. I finally realized that is he concerned about clothes? Because I've heard about those things.
You may actually get the idea that he's very nice about wanting to get her weapons or something, but but for some reason, he's having a hard time. It's kind of the whole, I'm not looking, sort of things. So why not? Okay,
absolutely.
I guess that makes sense.
You got me.
I actually have a tunic and a travel cloak.
Right.
But she has a bow. She made arrows.
So in a
I'm
moment,
walking over to my staff and fetch those and take the tunic myself and give the cloak to.
Do you want to? You can, but Farth, or rather Lorenzo, do you want to go and try to do this?
I want to try this thing because I feel like I'm
So it's you are the one who says. So even though okay, I know everybody's actions. The question, Vefselk, are you going to try to stop him by force, or once he appears determined, then it's just up to him, I guess? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I don't think I would try to stop him by force. If he's going to run off,
okay,
I'll let him do that.
Okay, so there are a couple of things at work here. One is that you have monster knowledge the hell out of those basilisks.
Yeah.
Right? So it actually isn't too difficult for you. You're going to have to. Now, you said you specifically dropped your weapon, right?
Mm-hmm. No, well, because I'm thinking that
I understand.
I'm going to be
right. I understand. So you are walking, and I assume you are therefore. Are you going to run there, or are you going to walk slowly and then run away?
I think that's a problem. I'm going to walk in the safest, because I also have to check that there is a way to get there without getting in the water.
Yeah, that's true. There is.
That's important. Okay.
Yeah. Then you didn't have to get in the water to get there in the first place, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So this is kind of interesting. As you walk there slowly, you have to walk past one or two of the little areas of water, and it may be a little bit worrying. There are bodies down there now. Right?
Yeah, so and the hands that could come out, yes.
Right, but your hands are empty, and you are not approaching with any kind of a... and also, your spirit is heightened. I'm going to say that the increase in the spirit has given you kind of a sense of the meaning of this place. So, effectively, if you are approaching with respect, which is what I'm getting the idea that you are doing, then that's true. I think that's quite viable. You're going to get there. Now, the monster knowledge, I'm going to say, allows you to know not to fucking look at the basilisks, right? And it's all about getting in there and getting out fast before that poison can get released again.
I'm even thinking that I may take the last few steps backwards.
Right,
pinpoint where go backwards the last step, and then pick up the stuff and immediately run away.
In that case, I'm going to give you the agility roll to avoid the gas. But since you are completely prepared, you have the monster knowledge, I'm going to give you plus 20%.
Okay.
So that's a pretty high roll, I think, 80 or less, right?
Yes, I have 60, but I would have made it without it, because I have 64 and I roll at 62.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So in that case, you do that, and you are extremely knowledgeable about the basilisks and are able to know when the poison is coming and everything. And so you time it perfectly. In fact, it's almost evident that you have a plan, you follow the plan, and you're out of there as the gas billows up again in a big cloud. So yes, and by the way, just so the two of you know, you have never seen anyone run like that before. This guy can really run. So when he gets back, he's not even out of breath. He's just breathing deeply, but is not out of breath and is feeling like he did something pretty good there. So I think I'm going to stop here. I think I'm really interested in the dialogue among your characters.
Okay.
These are interesting characters. It's interesting to feel our way into what they want or would do. But I think that we should probably break it here and let that work on our unconscious.
There is also one other small thing that I think we can work off screen without eating time during play, which is that Monster Knowledge has a part about exorcising the undead. And I'm trying to figure out what that means. I mean, is it religious? Is it just, Van Helsing kind of thing? I want to figure out how that kind of falls in. Yeah.
Sure. We can talk about that. Another thing I wanted to say about the experience points, interestingly and very unusually, this game decreases the emphasis on combat. For avoiding combat, you take your level and I think you multiply it by 20 or something. I mean, there's a fairly big, right? In other words, there's a big reward for effectively avoiding combat. And the reward for surviving or they say for helping in a combat, the reward for that is actually significantly less. And there is no reward for killing, no reward for victorious combat. And so, Sam, you know that for a fantasy game of this kind, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So it's an interesting point. Given the game's emphasis on skills, it's almost as though there's a game there that they wanted to play that they could not bring themselves actually to write. Because every example focuses on these combat, tactics, but the combat's actually pretty simple. There's no maneuvering. Well, there's some maneuvering in combat, but it's very simple compared to many games. And it's also it seems to me as though the game they wanted to write really focused on culture, crafting, and socializing. But in their heads, they also had to have a game where you fought monsters, and there's no reason on earth to fight a monster. It's not in the book at all. There's nothing in the book about why you would fight a monster. Nothing.
Right.
And so I was just pointing out, Lorenzo, that the game's experience points reward avoiding combat greatly. They reward it much more than helping in a combat.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in there about winning a combat. Slaying the foe, beating the foe, being victorious. Nothing. So it's there are a whole bunch of other really picky little rules as well for more experience. But the point is that it definitely does not have the typical reward structure of a fantasy adventure game.
Yeah.
So
the outcome tonight felt the most natural thing possible.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also very specific to this place and why it is here and what happened here.
Yeah, precisely.
Right? So therefore, yes, I think there's a lot of room for some dialogue from the characters. I'm very interested. It's a wide open game. I have no personal plan for where you are supposed to go next or anything like that. So it's what your characters decide to do that matters.
Nice.
Well, put some space between me and this place, probably, because the way I rolled my character, I should keep out of combat for a lot of reasons.
I see, yes. Well, the game will reward you for that. But I will say that your character is hardly ineffective. What are your other? Do you have any other miracles? You have Soften Earth, and what? Any others?
I have Soften Earth. I'm going to. I have Summon Earth Elemental, which we will have to think about what the effects are when it is time.
Oh my God, I read it.
And I have the Dust Storm.
Oh, those are fantastic. The Dust Storm is blind. So. Actually, that would have been effective against the Basilisks as well, because it would have blinded
I would have had to get closer to them, and I didn't have any intention to do that. My life points are 41.
Right.
So even though I can only use the tattoo for myself, sooner or later I'll need it.
Exactly. And so then there's also this Earth Elemental can do two things. It can create earthquakes, which will damage people, but it also has all the special effects of earthquakes, which can be thousands of things, right? I mean,
I'm actually looking forward to it.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
if you want to bring rocks
expensive
falling down
in
on
terms-
people and things like that, you are all set for that. And then
it's
it
quite
also
expensive.
creates this weird little rocky humanoid who can fight.
Yes.
Who can fight. So
Just wait for that.
She's basically got a stone gnome to go and like kick ass when she wants to. So look out for the shaman. This stuff is not messing around.
Okay.
So all right, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you very much.
Bye.
And,
All right.
See you.
yeah.